Hey everyone, I'm Talya Lutzker, your Ayurveda everyday life coach and advocate for your awesomeness. And I got a really cool question from one of my private clients, my private Ayurvedic clients, about how to maintain discipline around the holidays. And I thought this is such a great topic to make a video about because a lot of people struggle with discipline. I think the holidays exacerbates it because there's a lot of temptations that are not around as much in other times of the year, but it may also highlight where you're not taking great care of yourself already. And a lot of people, I've experienced this myself. A lot of people have some difficult feelings arise in around the holidays. If you've lost a loved one, if you're grieving, if you don't have a really great community or family to be with, and you're dealing with loneliness or facing, all kinds of difficult things. The holidays also exacerbates that. So the holidays have a tendency to really highlight what is working, but also what isn't working. And when we're confronted with what isn't working, that's actually when discipline is the most important, but sometimes the hardest to access. So I hope that this video helps you get some traction there if this is something you struggle with. So the first thing that I want to share is I teach seasonal Ayurvedic cleanse programs called the RAD Cleanse. The next one is spring 2020. And in the RAD Cleanse, one of the first things that I have my students do is I have them set an intention. And I'm very intentional about why I do that. Because, when you're going to do any sort of intensive, life-changing, life-transforming, project, whatever you want to call it, challenge, if you know why you're doing it and you're really tied to how you want to feel and what's important about it to you, like what really got you there, that intention will carry you so far in terms of not straying off course and staying true to yourself and true to the reason why you decided to say yes to blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you're watching this, you're interested in how to live Ayurveda in your everyday life. So I'm going to assume that you watching this, like, yeah, okay, why does Ayurveda matter? Why does a healthy lifestyle really matter to me? And I'll just use myself as an example. One of my intentions in life is I want to feel radiant, joyful, and grateful. Those three things: radiant, joyful, grateful. That's like a constant intention. I have it on my phone. I drew it on a piece of paper that, every time I walk into my kitchen, that's what I see. And the reason why that's really powerful is anytime I'm doing anything, when I have the awakeness, the consciousness to check in and be like, is this making me feel joyful, radiant, and grateful? It's a gauge for me to measure against if my behavior is matching up with creating that sense of well-being within myself. So setting an intention for the holiday season can be really, really powerful for you. And I'll give you just a little insight into how we do it in the RAD Cleanse. We take a blank piece of paper. In the very center of it, and you can meditate on it for a couple minutes. You think about how do I want to feel? If discipline is a struggle for you, maybe in the center of the page, it's I am disciplined and I feel great about myself. Now, I like to have it be I am statements or I feel statements because you'll really relate to them and it'll ground into your foundational core. So that's in the middle. And then on the left-hand side, we write down all the things that we will be letting go of in order to live that intention. And on the right-hand side of the paper, we write out all the things that we will be doing instead that we're excited about. So, sometimes it's something really discipline related in terms of health, like I will not stay up past 1 a.m. anymore. I will be in bed by 11. Or I won't emotionally eat at night. I will have my last meal by 7 p.m. every night. It's things like that. And when you write it out, putting it on paper makes it so much more real. So that can be a very useful tool. So I hope that that helps you. Another tip for those of you who struggle with maintaining discipline is if you've got to schedule some kind of self-care. And I know that a lot of you are busy moms, busy professionals. You've got a ton going on. Maybe you have a disability and it prevents you from being able to get around easily. So doing more feels really hard. What I love to do, this is one of my all-time favorite things, and I've been doing it almost every day for a couple of months, and it's been amazing, is every morning I wake up and I write down 5 ways that I will take care of myself that day. So it's part of a morning routine. I have a discipline around it, but I also make it really easy on myself. I have a journal right between my bedroom and the bathroom. So it's open to a new page, so I can just go there and be like, okay, yeah, what are my 5 things today? And most days they're the same. So I'm going to hydrate my body, and I'll tell you that's my next tip is about that. I'm going to hydrate my body in the morning. I wrote it down actually. I'm going to scrape my tongue first thing in the morning before I brush my teeth. I'm going to do some kind of adaptogen in the day, so an immune boosting, adrenal supporting tea or herbal coffee substitute. I'm going to do some kind of physical movement, whether that's yoga or dance or lately I've been really into doing this fitness program on Grokr. I love it. I love this woman, Sarah Cush. She's so awesome. I think she just had a baby. So some kind of daily exercise, because I know that when I don't move my body, at the end of the day, I'm all, ugh. I mean, unless I really needed to rest all day, fine. And dry brushing or some kind of lymphatic movement. Those are 5 things. Now, if I really break this down for you again, tongue scraping takes me 30 seconds before I brush my teeth. I'm going to brush my teeth anyway. Easy. That is I wrote it down, then I can go back to my list and cross it off. I did it. That is positive reinforcement for your brain. It helps you associate, I'm learning this from my brain coach, Lisa A. Romano. That helps your brain associate self-care with pleasure and with accomplishment. So then it's like, oh, I feel so great about myself. I did what I said I was going to do, and I did something that furthers my journey down the health and Ayurvedic healing path. To hydrate your body first thing in the morning is so vital. I cannot emphasize this enough. We are made up of over 70% water, like the earth itself, and we run on electricity, and water is what runs electricity. I mean electricity, like we need electrolytes, we need essential fatty acids, like there's all these nutrient components that go into us having energy. And if you're dehydrated, there's just no way that your fluids can bring you the components that you need to feel energized, to be like, oh, I have enough energy to exercise. I have enough energy to really complete all the work that I wanted to complete today. I have all the energy that I want to, do my work and go out with friends tonight. So it really starts with your hydration. So that's always on my list. Always, always. First thing in the morning, 16 ounces of some kind of water, whether it's water with salt or Soleil or plain water or water with lemon. I don't really care for the purposes of this video. Some kind of hydration that you're like, every day I do this first. And if you're a coffee drinker, you do that before you would drink any caffeinated beverage. Now, daily adaptogens, that's just kind of what I'm into. I think a lot of you are into this. Adaptogens are immune boosting, adrenal and kidney supporting herbs. There are many, many adaptogens on the planet, and you don't need every single one. And there are some that are better for you than others. I'll get into that in another video. But fresh ginger root is an adaptogen. And fresh ginger root gives you energy because it's warming and circulating, and it wakes you up, and it picks up the, if you've got like kapha and you're kind of like, oh, I feel heavy or depressed or kind of, ginger will help to like buffer that by uplifting you, uplifting your spirits and actually helping you circulate your blood better, which oxygenates your cells more. When you have more oxygen, you have more energy. So that's on my list is daily adaptogens. A lot of times it's just simple, fresh ginger tea. Daily exercise, fine, 30 minutes, however long I have. Some days I do it for 2.5 hours. Some days I only have 30 minutes. I do my best. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. I just make sure I do it so I can go back to my list and cross it off. And then dry brushing is something I'll do before I get dressed. So anytime I'm naked, it's like you want to have your dry brush in a place where you're like, it becomes automatic that that's what you do before you shower or you get dressed or you go to bed at night. Doesn't matter what time of day you dry brush, because circulating your lymph and blood is always a good thing. And if you have trouble sleeping, it may even help you sleep, because good circulation is actually a precursor to oxygenating your blood, and that helps you sleep better. So I kind of digress by going into all of that in such great detail. However, I did that to show you, I didn't do it that well. Tongue scraping, 30 seconds. Morning hydration, 5 minutes. Adaptogens, 5 minutes. Daily exercise, whatever you have time for. Dry brushing, 2 minutes. These are all self-care practices that you can write down every morning and be like, check, check, check. And because it's a positive reinforcement around your self-care and associating pleasure with your self-care and taking good care of yourself, when you are tempted by a plate of brownies at the office or by a bag of holiday M&Ms that are all silver and red, hello, scary, that's those food colorings are really like, that cannot be good. But it's still tempting. So it's like, ooh, chocolate, I'm going to get energy, it's sugar. Like, if you're really stressed out, it'll feel even more tempting, because sugar will give you quick energy, but then it'll also make you crash. But when you are in the flow of really taking good care of yourself, that stays in your psyche all day. And so when you see the plate of brownies or you're with coworkers and they're all like, oh my God, like it's so good. There's more of a natural capacity to be like, taking care of myself is actually my number one priority. And that just doesn't match up. So it's really about looking at where, you're in alignment with the behaviors in your day. So I hope that helps you. And the last thing I want to say about, maintaining discipline, especially through the holidays, is discipline, unfortunately, I think can feel like a scary word, or it just feels really hard. It feels like a rules word. And if you're not a rule follower, you might just be like, F that, like I'm going to rebel. I don't want to do that. But I once studied yoga with this amazing guy. I think his name is Eric Small. He taught yoga for people with MS, and he'd actually really healed himself from MS. He'd been symptom-free for, I think, 20, 30 years when I met him. And I remember I can still see my notebook of when I wrote it down in my notebook. But he had this whole thing that he said about discipline being freedom. Because when you are disciplined about the things that matter the most to you, for us, it's taking great care of ourselves because we want to feel amazing, because we want to do amazing things, because we want to look good, we want to be at our ideal body weight, we want to feel good. That's a huge priority for a lot of people who are in my community. It certainly is for me. We want to overcome autoimmune disorders. We want to have our hormones be in balance. We want to have great sex with our partners, like whatever it is. We want to feel loved by ourselves, like self-love. But he really reframed that as discipline is a pathway to freedom. When you can have discipline in the things that matter the most, for us it's around self-care, freedom is on the other side of that. And I just remember that was I've already said, but it was very profound for me. And I try to remember that discipline does not mean restriction. It does not mean deprivation. It can really mean alternative. So, if you are in a workplace environment where people are bringing junk food to work, because everyone's doing it, like, I love to bake at the holidays, but if I keep all the cookies, I mean, I'm not going to feel good. So I want to give them away. And I think a lot of people do this around this time. It's a time of giving and creating. But you could create something super amazing, healthy, delicious. Like I just went to, I was in San Diego, and they've got an amazing Cafe Gratitude there, this amazing restaurant. It's like unbelievable. It's so good. And they have these raw almond butter squares. It's just almond butter. It's literally all it is, that they put like into a little mold so it comes out as a square. And then they dip it in raw melted chocolate that they make themselves. It's like, raw cacao powder, melted cacao butter, agave or whatever, maple syrup, a little bit of Himalayan salt or whatever kind of salt, good salt. What else did she say was in it? I called them because I was like, how do I make it? There's recipes all over my world. So if you're looking for a recipe for how to make raw chocolate, look at my blog. I know I have a recipe for more than one there, but talyaskitchen.com. But if you bring something like that to work, number one, you are taken care of. You have something amazing, delicious, health-giving, uplifting. It's not going to weigh you down or bog you down. It's going to feel good when you eat it. It's protein and fat and sweet. You could put even adaptogenic herbs in it. You're getting to share this gift of alternatives to junk food with all these people at your work. They'll appreciate you for it. You'll spread the love of Ayurveda and of healthy lifestyle when you do that. But really, most importantly, you'll take care of yourself. And when I do that, I work at home, but I keep that kind of stuff around all the time because I love sweets and I want to eat sweets when I want something sweet. And so I make sure I have really, really amazing alternatives. And that's all that I keep in my home. So that's the last tip for you is, keep really wonderful alternatives to things that you might be tempted by. Those of you with kids, pizza and pasta and string cheese and stuff that just doesn't help you feel good because it's hard to digest. It, builds excess kapha if you're already having like sort of a lot of toxicity or what we call ama in Ayurveda. It won't help you to eat those foods. So you need to know what your alternatives are, and that's where discipline really is freedom of like, oh, well, I have something that I love to eat. And so I'll give you one example. I think examples are helpful. Like nowadays, it's so easy to get, squash or any kind of squash that's already peeled and spiralized into noodles. You can also do this yourself with a spiralizer machine that's so cheap. They're like $30 and, do it forever. That $30 will be the same price as you buying spiralized squash 4 times. But you have that, and you could still put, some like really beautiful raw feta cheese or homemade pesto on it. You could make it taste so delicious, like really good salt, sumac, asafoetida, some cumin seed, and just like be like, oh my God, it's so good that I don't even care that I'm not eating my kids' pizza because this is so much better. So I hope that this helps. I hope that this helps you find, kind of glean lots of really cool ways that you can maintain discipline throughout the year, but especially around the holidays. And thank you so much for watching. I now have a YouTube channel that I'm really working hard to, organize and make very accessible. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Ayurveda Every Day with Talya. You can find it on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.